All right, everyone. Good morning. Needs more drums here, and welcome to a brand new series. Welcome to Drumbridge Farms. So, it's an August morning here. Absolutely beautiful day in the English countryside. I just every time I get up, I just love the view, love the environment that we're in here. It's just absolutely stunning. But before we get going on a little farm tour here, I want to talk to you guys about what is actually going on with this series. So, this farm has been in our family for generations. We've owned tons of land in this area. Pretty much all of the fields in this area were run by my family's farm at one point. But you know, in the past, well, many years over the course of many years, we've had to kind of sell off a lot of the land. You know, people started moving away, getting different jobs and things. People started growing up, moving away from the family farm, and my dad was kind of left to run it by himself. And you know, he just couldn't do it. He could not keep up with all the demanding work and everything. And so he sold off the land, you know, to other local farmers, other contractors, and things like that. And now we are left with just two fields. We're gonna jump in, like I said, jump into a tour in a little bit of a second, or a little bit of a tour in a second. Sorry. But yeah, just want to show you guys the main yard here. So we only have one tractor. We have this John Deere, I believe it's a 6R. Great tractor for what we need. You know, just the right amount of horsepower to kind of handle the jobs that we are currently doing on the farm now. We only have 40 grand in the bank. Not much, but not terrible. You know, the farm used to make great money, but again, we're down to a pretty small operation here, so we're not bringing in as much cash. And one good thing, though, I will say, is that you can see the header over there, but we have a combine, which is a huge asset in this area. Usually, a lot of farmers have to contract out their harvesting work, their combining work. We could do it ourselves, and also help some of the neighbors, especially now that we don't own a lot of the land around here, but we can still get the combine around and jump in during harvest season, which, as you can see, is right now. So that's task number one today, is to get this field of canola off the ground to our left here. This is one of the fields that we own, and let me go and drive across the street here, and I will show you guys the rest of our operation. So again, you can see that on our left there's the main yard that we were just at, and then if we make a right here onto this little road, you can see the second half of the farm that we currently own. So just on our right here, this grass field behind the stone wall, this is ours, and which is task number 2 today, is going to be to get that cut and baled and everything, and we're gonna actually produce some silage. And so you can see here we have some equipment under the shed. Here's all of our grass work equipment. Nothing super extravagant. You know, pretty decent sized, but nothing you know, massive. Pretty new as well. We got a lot of nice equipment on this farm. You know, as my dad sold off some of the land, he reinvested that money and those profits into some equipment as well. So we got some newer stuff. You know, things aren't as dated as they once were. You can see we got a little mower over there, windrower, tedder, and a nice Krone round baler for us. And then here to the left, we have some of our front loader attachments. We got a bale wrapper, the actual loader, and then the bale fork, or whatever you want to call it, the round bale fork. And yeah, to our right here, we actually have a cow barn, which we don't have any cows. That is something that we haven't had on the farm for a long time. The barn is just kind of sat here because, you know, like I said, it's a lot of work. I mean, just the farm itself is a lot of work, let alone, you know, managing the animals and stuff. So my dad couldn't really handle all that by himself. He definitely needs some help with that. That's hard to do as a one-man show. So we're gonna think about that in the future, but that's not really a priority for us right now. Today, the main priority, like I said, is to get the harvest done, get this grass cut, and actually, it is August, so if we can get the canola off the field today, get it cultivated, and get some seeds in the ground. We do have some seeds in the barn back there in the main yard. If we can get some seeds in the ground, then we can get a round of grass in before the winter, because it takes 3 months to reach its maturity. So, you know, if we plant it in August, that gives us September, October, November, we can cut it again, and then that'll mean that we can get the cut in before December, before the winter sets in. So really good plan, I think, in my book, to get 2 grass harvests this, you know, before the winter, and one of them being, I guess, a second harvest on our field. So, you know, then we'll turn that over, and then we'll be able to plant a spring crop in it. We could probably get another cut of grass in March or maybe April, and then try to plant a spring crop, like maybe something with a quicker growth period, like oats or something like that. Or at the very least, we can keep that field as grass throughout the summer, and then plant another like winter crop in the fall, like wheat or barley or something like that. So we have some options to think about, right? But the plan is, I guess the end goal here is that we want to buy back every single field that we once had. I think I could do it between, you know, me helping my dad, and I'm not even opposed to outsourcing some of our work to, you know, other contractors in the area or other farmers. I know there's some contractors that are looking for work. The other farmers are pretty busy with their own stuff, so I'm sure they'd be happy to get their hands, you know, kind of wiped clean of this extra work, you know, get rid of some of these fields, especially if we're able to pay them a pretty good price for it. But yeah, definitely some of the contractors in the area, you know, we can kind of outsource some of the work to them, and I'm sure they would be really happy to get the business, because, you know, it's not an easy line of work. It's not always the most lucrative depending on the year, and hopefully this year, you know, things are shaping up to be really good for us in terms of the harvest and everything. So let's just go ahead and pull up right here. We'll go ahead and get the combine out of the shed, get it all prepped and ready. You can see we have this nice class combine, just again a nice, pretty new piece of equipment. I am really loving this, and it's going to be great to get it out onto the field this year. We have quite a big field here. I believe it's, I forget how many acres. Is it 6 acres? No, almost 20. So yeah, pretty big field that we got to get done today. But hopefully after that we can even call around. You know, if we get this done today and get the grass at least cut, then we can, you know, ask around today and see if anybody else needs any kind of harvesting done. Well, then again, we do have to plant the seeds, but maybe my dad can help with that a little bit. We'll see what happens. So good thing we do have one other pair of hands. You know, he's happy to drive the combine and, you know, kind of run some of the equipment still, just driving, but I'll be handling, you know, a lot of the other tasks as they come up. But yeah, before we jump into the combine though, let me do what I said I was going to do and give you guys a little bit of an overview of kind of what we're looking to do with this whole series. So this whole area is what used to be Drumbridge Farms. We owned every single field all in this area. You know, we were the only farm in the area, and now some other farmers have come from, you know, kind of down the road in all directions, and, you know, have bought the fields and, you know, either worked them by themselves or contracted out the work. But nonetheless, we no longer own any of this. We own just this big field here that I showed you, which is field 5, and then field 36 here, which is that small grass field. So our goal is, you know, we want to buy back all of this. We want to buy back, you know, even field 8 up here, field 29, 28, these big ones here. You know, I mean, we used to own all of this. It was absolutely massive. And yeah, just, you know, times change, and like I said, people move away and invest the money elsewhere and just don't want to work on the farm. But I'm really looking forward to this, and I think we're going to start by trying to buy back some of these smaller fields. Like you can see, like 2 and 3, maybe even like 41, 42, and 43. Just these little grass fields will help a bunch in just making a steady income for us. And then, you know, we can kind of look at like field 10 and field 7, just kind of start buying fields that are close to us and then working our way out. So that's the plan. That is all to come. But for now, let's just go ahead and jump into the combine, get it out, get it ready, and we'll have my dad kind of jump in and help us out. But yeah, we got that trailer over there. We got I believe it's a Rampe, however you say it, Krampe. This is one of our grain trailers. Actually, it's our only grain trailer. And then we have another bale trailer around the corner. But that's it in terms of the trailers. We really don't have that much on this farm. We have a small seeder. We have, you know, a small, relatively, let's just say medium-sized sprayer, and just a disc harrow. So nothing really too extravagant. We don't really do any row crops. We don't have a planter. We only do, like, you know, grains and cereal crops and grass. So that's why we just have the small seeder. It'll take a lot of time to see this field, but again, it's our only field that we really do anything with. So not too bad in my book. But yeah, enough talking. Let's get in the combine. Let's get it out on the field, and we will get started with the harvest. All right, we got the header hooked up. Beautiful combine. Again, just all of these wonderful pieces of machinery on the farm. It ain't much, but it's really reliable equipment, and I absolutely love it. So I think I might jump out, let my dad run the combine a bit. He's gonna come over here. He was just getting up and getting ready. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and hook up to the grain trailer, and we'll get started with today's harvest, jump into a little bit of a time lapse, and yeah, just enjoy the beautiful views of Drumbridge Farm. This is, again, just a beautiful piece of property. Just look at this. I never get tired of this view. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. All right, and here he comes with the combine again. We'll probably swing up alongside on the when he turns around, and that should be the last load in the trailer. I forgot exactly how low yielding of a crop canola is. I mean, we've been driving around. This is still the first trailer load, and we haven't even filled it. We're almost halfway done with the field already, and we haven't even filled a single trailer. But it's you know, more profitable, but definitely a lower yielding crop, you know, being a one of those, it's a legume. But yeah, just a little bit more background about why we only have one tractor. Well, you know, this is, my dad was here by himself for a while, so he didn't see the need to have any other tractors around the farm. There was some older equipment, like I said earlier, you know, there was a lot of older equipment, and he had since traded it in, you know, for some newer stuff like the newer combine, and pretty much everything is a little bit more modern than compared to what it used to be, even just 10 years ago. You know, coming back to the farm after having not been here for a while, it's so different, and everything is so much newer. But yeah, oh yeah, there we go, that's it. So all right, let's go ahead and dump this in the silo, which is nice about this farm. It's one of the few farms in the area with a proper silo. You know, a lot of these farms in the UK over here use just grain sheds. But this one has not one, but actually two silos. So, you know, if we have a couple different crops, we can keep them separate. But yeah, the big silo's over here. So we're going to go ahead and just dump this in there. And we actually, I'm going to put my beacons on because we do have to get in this from the road. But yeah, this is a big trailer, 25,000 liters. And it's not the easiest to maneuver. You know, I actually take that back. It's actually pretty easy to maneuver, given that it's got the rear wheel steering, but still, you know, it's pretty long. So luckily we have a luxury here in this farm of having a bit bigger yard, whereas a lot of the UK farms have quite small yards, and it's very difficult to maneuver something like this. But we're a bit lucky, so I'll take it, you know. Yeah, so if we just loop up here, the one thing we got to be careful of is traffic. Looking around here, it looks like we're clear. But yeah, so my dad got this John Deere, a 6R. Sorry, I wasn't as familiar with what exactly, you know, it was. We're still kind of getting our bearings here, exactly, you know, about what's going on the farm and what we have on the farm. This is the problem with this shed. We gotta kind of, it's actually easier to come in the other way, but we'll see if we can kind of finesse this around here. Just like, let's see if we can do this. This is where that steering on the trailer there kind of comes in handy, because look at that, we would not have been able to make that any other way. So I'll take it. We'll dump this here. We have plenty of clearance for these trailers, so nothing to worry about in terms of you know, having to hit the roof or anything. But yeah, we'll go ahead and put that in the silo. It's one load down, and we'll just keep on keeping on here for the day, and probably just finish this up, and then I'll talk to you guys once we're done with the harvest, and we'll see what time it is. You know, the one thing I gotta say about having only one tractor on the farm is, you know, for one person it's totally fine, right? And you only really need somebody to come in and run the combine. I mean, you can really run the combine by yourself as well, and just jump in, you know, to the just pull the tractor off to the side and unload, and, you know, just kind of do that all day with one field. You know, that's fine. You can harvest field in a day like that, no problem. But if, you know, we're planning on having some more fields Obviously, having two people like we're doing right now, one running the combine and one running the trailer, is going to be a massive upgrade for us. And plus, you know, we really do need to start looking into a second tractor. If you guys have any ideas, any suggestions, you know, if you've seen anything on the market or know anybody that's selling something, please let me know in the comments. I would love to get your input about you know, any kind of brands, any kind of good deals you guys see on the used market. Please, please, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep looking myself, and you know, I'll just kind of pick whatever. I've been looking at some brands, some decently priced used tractors. Actually, I saw a New Holland one that wasn't too badly priced, and a Valtra or Valtra. That's a brand that I'm not really familiar with. You know, kind of living in this, being from the States mostly. You know, like I said, I haven't been on this farm in years, and so being from the States, you know, that's not a brand that you usually see. I don't really know a lot about them. But apparently, you know, they've been around for a long time, and they got some pretty good tractors. So I could think about doing something like that, you know. But then, you know, we have our trusty like Case or New Hollands, which I am familiar with. So you know, I'm happy to find something like that as well. But again, we're looking for something not too expensive. I'd like to keep it under the $50,000 mark. I would ideally like to get something this winter. You know, it would be nice to have it like right now, because I realized after we harvest this, we have to disc the field. We have to, or I guess we don't have a disc harrow. I think we do have a cultivator. I got to double check that. I'm so sorry, guys. But either way, we got to cultivate. We got to plant the grass seeds, and then we have to mow the grass in the other field. I would like to get all that done today. And ideally, if we had two tractors, you know, my dad could help with that. But since we have one, can't really do that. So we're just going to have to work with what we got, I guess, for the rest of this year. And after that, though, you know, after those jobs are done, we really only do need one tractor for the remainder of the year. And with the fields that we got, we really don't need two tractors most of the time anyway. But next year, once we start purchasing fields, you know, getting more work, it will be nice to have two. And so I would like to get something this winter with the profits that we make from selling this canola. And then any silage that we get from this cut of grass will be going straight to a new tractor as well. And yeah, I'm thinking of, you know, like I said, something older, something used. I'm not trying to get anything crazy big or modern. You know, I need something preferably around the 150 horsepower mark. Honestly, at the most, there's no real need to go over 200. I mean, honestly, just having a second tractor to do the grass work. Run the baler, which only needs 100 horsepower, and I think the seeder needs 150. But I mean, I don't even see a reason to worry about having. If we could just get something that can do grass work while we're out here doing the arable work, you know, seeding, cultivating with this tractor, I don't see any problem with that. That'll be perfect, especially in the summer. A lot of the fields around here are grass anyway, and I kind of intend if we're able to buy them back, you know, I do intend to keep them that way. So, yeah, I think that'll work out perfectly for us. So anyway, leave your suggestions down in the comments. Let me know if you guys are aware of anything in the market around the area, and I'd be happy to take a look. But yeah, that's enough of me talking for right now. I'm just going to get back to work and be a little bit selfish and shut off the cameras for now, and just, you know, kind of savor the view and this beautiful weather in the summer. It's just such a nice day, beautiful day for harvesting, and I cannot wait to spend some time here and really get used to being around this part of the world. This part of England is just absolutely gorgeous. So much greenery, so you know, so much rolling. There's a lot of rolling hills in this part. You can just look at even the background, just this backdrop that we have. I'm not going to get tired of this view for probably forever, if I'm being honest. But anyway, all right, I'll get back to work. I'll just talk to you guys once we're done with the harvest, and then we'll jump into whatever other job we can do next. Before the day's up. Probably getting that grass cut, I think, is what we're going to prioritize. And then if we can get the grass seeded today, that would be great. At the very least, if we can get the field cultivated, that'd be awesome as well. And who knows? You know, maybe we'll even reach out to some of the neighbors and see if they need any fields harvested today while we got the combine out and running. So maybe Dad can go jump over and do that, and we could you know, run the trailer back and forth or whatever. So I promise. Stop talking now. Talk to you guys in a minute. And all right, guys, we just got done harvesting this field. It is about 1:20 in the afternoon. Dad just parked the combine right up over there. We're going to go and drop off this last load of canola into the silo. Pretty good harvest. Got done little bit faster than I thought, to be honest. Only took us about, honestly, not even half the day, really, when we got a little bit of a late start. And we'll turn our beacons on here, and let me jump into the cab so I can see what's going on. No traffic coming. Very good. All right, and like I said, or like I did before, I'm going to try to... you know what I should have done? I should have came in the other way. Dang it. Oh, well, we'll try to swing this around again. We might have to do a little bit of a three-point turn type thing here. Let's just see what we can do. And when you look at that, not bad if I say so myself. One motion, didn't even have to pull forward or anything. But yeah, so now that we're done with that field, we are going to go and head over. We're going to drop off this trailer, probably just park it up here at the yard somewhere. I know we could go through that gate right there, but making that turn is going to be impossible given where we're at right now. So we'll go ahead and just drop this off and then head over to the other side of the farm by our grass field over there across the road. And then we will get that cut real quick. I'm not concerned with getting it, you know, windrowed and baled today. That could wait till tomorrow. I'd rather just get it cut, and then that probably won't take any longer than an hour. It's a pretty small field, and our mower isn't the biggest, but it's, you know, it moves pretty quick, so we can get it done pretty quick. And then we'll see what happens after that. We might have some time to, I don't know, do something else. We'll probably see if we can, I don't know, maybe we'll ask around, see if there's some harvesting that needs, if anybody needs help harvesting today, because it is kind of the end of the month. You know, people are ready to get their crops off of the field. It's a beautiful day for it. A bunch of the local farmers are working hard to get their harvest done today, and so the fact that we got ours done pretty early in the day, we can, you know, rent out our combine and make a little bit of extra cash and help out our neighbors. You know, always good to develop some good relationships, especially if we're trying to get our fields back. You know, we don't want any hostility with any of the neighbors, so we'll try to see if anybody needs any assistance later. And then maybe while we're doing that, we'll see if we need the tractor, if Dad can jump in and get the start getting the field cultivated that we just harvested, so we can get that grass seed down and get that ready for the see if we can get another cut in before the winter. All right, just pulling up here. We have the mower tucked away under this shed here. It's a little bit of a challenge to maneuver with this mower on. It kind of sticks out, and it's, you know, doesn't have any kind of a turning axis on it, so just kind of adds to the length of our tractor, but it's okay. We'll try to get this lined up here. Yes, yeah, I kind of got to go as far as I can here forward to avoid hitting that hole, just like I'm about to do right now. Yeah, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. Let's give this another shot here. We'll try to get a little bit closer to the right. There we go. That should do it. Perfect. Excellent. Let's head to the field. All right, and here's our beautiful grass field, all ready to be mowed. Make us some money. And yeah, you know, a lot of people don't really care for these mowers that stick off to the side like this, to be honest. I quite like them. They're really easy to work with. So all you got to do is just, for your first kind of headland pass here, you just kind of go around as close as you can to the edge, drive straight through the tree there. Yeah, it leaves a nice little gap for your tractor. I'm not going to try to get too close to these bushes in it. With these old stone walls, you know, got to keep some room between these as well. Make it easier to turn the tractor around when we're getting, you know, the baling done and everything. Again, I could get up and like kind of try to square out these corners, but to be honest, I'm fine with leaving them rounded. It's not going to add that much grass, and it just means we have to do a bunch more turns. And like I said, I'm fine leaving this little strip of grass here kind of along the edge. We'll see. Maybe we'll come back and even it out, but I try to kind of hug the wall as best I can. But anyway, just going to get this done, and then we'll go from there. And what did I say? Barely an hour? Not even close. Took us like 20 minutes to get that done. Yeah, super fast. But that's great. That field is all cut, ready to go. So now, you know what? I think this is a good point to call it for today. This has been super fun. I'm really excited to see where this series goes. You know, how easy it's going to be to kind of scale the operation, buy more fields, buy more machinery. You know, it's going to be a lot of work, but I feel like we're going to get some economies of scale here. You know, once we start improving our tractors and you know, getting some bigger machinery, getting jobs done a little bit quicker, we'll be able to make some more money, buy some more fields. Going to do a lot of grass work. Grass work in this part of the world is very, very profitable. A lot of these fields, you know, are grass already. We'll probably keep them that way, but we're also going to do our fair share of arable crops, which is going to be super fun. And yeah, who knows? But in the next episode, we'll just keep it on here with you know, getting our other field prep, getting the grass ready, and then, like I said, we'll reach out maybe to some of the neighbors and see if anybody needs help with anything, since we got a little bit of downtime for the rest of the day. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and I hope that you enjoy this series and follow along. And if you're not new to the channel, thanks for coming back. Thanks for checking this out. I really appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace out.